We'll get started. The line graph shows the percent of cars for sale at a used car lot on a given day by model each year. For what model year is the percent of cars for sale the smallest? Well, as you can see here, 2014 as the smallest, so C as in cat is the correct answer. For a particular machine that produces beads, 29 out of every 100 beads it produces have a defect. A bead produced by the machine will be selected at random. What is the probability of selecting a bead that has a defect? Well, I wrote it out here, so C is the correct answer. In the figure, line M is parallel to line N, and line T intersects both lines. What is the value of X? Well, we know that this and this are the same, so X plus 33 is equal to 180. So we can determine that X is 147. So D as in David is the correct answer. Number four, what is the y-intercept of the graph shown? So when X is 0, y is equal to 8. So 0, comma 8. So D is the correct answer. The total cost f of x in dollars to lease a car for 36 months from a particular car dealership is given by f of x is equal to 36x plus 1,000, where x is the monthly payment in dollars. What is the total cost to lease a car when the monthly payment is $400? So all you gotta do is put this 400 inside the x here, okay? And then what is what is 36 times 400 plus 1,000? That is 15,400. So C is the correct answer. Note this, each side of a square has a length of 45. What is the perimeter of the square? So perimeter of a square is going to be 4 times the length. So 4 times 45 is 180. So 180 is the correct answer. Number seven, what is the positive solution to the given equation? I'm going to bring this guy over here by multiplying. So 55 is equal to x times x plus 6. Now I'm going to bring this guy to the right, so it becomes x squared plus 6x minus 55 is equal to 0. We have 11 and 5. Don't forget to put the minus here. And it's asking for the positive 5 is the correct answer. An object travels at a constant speed of 12 centimeters per second. At this speed, what is the time in seconds that it would take for the object to travel at 108 centimeters? So time is equal to distance over speed. So all we got to do is 108 divided by 12. And the correct answer is 9. So A, A as an apple is correct. Okay, the lists give the values in data sets X and Y. Which statement correctly compares the mean of data set X and the mean of data set Y? So mean is equal to the total divided by frequency. So I'm going to add this all up for X. And also this becomes, so if I do 5 plus 9 plus 13 divided by 4, I get 9. And for data set Y, I'm going to do 5 plus 9 plus 9 plus 13 plus 27 divided by 5. And I'll get 12.6. So just to clarify, there are four elements in data set X, and there are 5 elements in data set Y. So let's compare the means. We can see that the mean for data set Y is greater than data set X, so B is the correct answer. A rocket contained 467,000 kilograms of propellant before launch. Exactly 21 seconds after launch, 362,105 kilograms of this propellant were made. On average, approximately how much propellant in kilograms did the rocket burn each second after launch? So initially we had 46, 467,000, and then it burns some amount for 21 seconds, right? And it's equal to 36. Okay. So my M is equal to 4995. So A is the correct answer. If 4x plus 2 is 12, what is the value of 16x plus 8? So multiply all of this by 4. And what's 12 times 4? That's 48. Because if I do this, it becomes 16x plus 8 is equal to 48. Okay, just to clarify. Okay. An object is kicked from a platform. The equation h equals minus 4.9 t squared plus 7t plus 9 represents the situation where h is the height of the object above the ground. In meters, t seconds after it is kicked, which number represents the height in meters from which the object was kicked? So we have an initial height of 9. So D is the correct answer. The given equation defines a function f for what value of x does f of x reach its minimum. So a lot of you have been asking for this formula. So I'm going to go ahead and put it, might be here. And then 2 times 4 is 8. So if I simplify this further, it becomes 25 over 4. So this is the correct answer. A small business owner budgets $2,200 to purchase candles. The owner must purchase a minimum of 200 candles to maintain the discounted icing. If the owner pays $4.9 per candle to purchase small candles and $11.6 per candle to purchase large candles, what is the maximum number of large candles the owner can purchase to stay within the budget and maintain the discounted pricing? Okay, so we can solve a system of linear equations here. So we have S plus L is equal to 200. And we have 4.9S plus 11.6L, which is equal to 2,200. Using your calculator, solve the system of linear equations. And for S, you're going to get L, you're going to get this here. And we're determining the large, right? So 12,200 divided by 67 is approximately 182. So 182 is the correct answer. In the linear function f of 0 is 8 and f of 1 is 12, which equation defines f? First, we need to get the slope. So we have 1 here and another 0 and 12 minus 8. So I can tell my slope is 4, so a is immediately eliminated. Now, if I plug in 0, I need to get an 8, right? Only D has the correct option. So B and C are automatically eliminated. The function f of w is 6w squared gives the area of a rectangle in square feet. If its width is w feet and its length is 6 times its width, which of the following is the best interpretation of f of 14 is equal to 1,176? So if the width is 14, my area is 1176, right? So A. Okay. The circle shown has center O, circumference 144 pi. So circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, which is equal to 144 pi. And immediately I can determine the radius of being 72. And the diameter is PR and QS. The length of arc PS is twice the length of arc PQ. What is the length of QR? So QR and PS have the same arc length. And I can write a relationship here. So S1 is equal to R theta 1 and S2. Because it's saying twice, we're going to have to say 2 R times 2 theta 1. Okay? And I could add my thetas up because they have to add to 180. So theta 1 plus 2 theta 1 is equal to 180. So we get 3 theta 1 is equal to 180. Theta 1 is equal to 60. Okay. So since we know this information here, I'll write this down, theta 1 over here. And this is 2 theta 1. I can now determine the relationship and I can determine what the length of the RQR is. So go ahead and write here. So S equals R theta. So we have 2 theta 1. So R times 2 theta 1. So what is 72 times 2 times 60? And since this is in degrees, we need to convert it to radians. So pi radians over 180. 72 times 2 times 60 times pi over 180. So this is equal to 48 pi. So B is the correct answer. B as in boy. A company that provides whale watching tours takes groups of 21 people at a time. The company's revenue is $80 per adult and $60 per child. If company's revenue for one group consisting of adults and children was $1,440, how many people in the group were children? Okay, so we have 21. So adult plus children is equal to 21. And 80 adults plus 60C is equal to 1440. Solve the system of linear equations and you'll get A is 9 and C is 12. We're asking for the children, so C is the correct answer. Okay. The function h is defined by h of x is equal to 4x plus 28. The graph of y is equal to hx, and the xy plane has an x-intercept at a comma 0 and a y-intercept at 0 comma b, where a and b are constants. What is the value of a plus b? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put my a inside here. So 4a plus 28 is 0. A is going to be obviously minus 7. If I put the 0 here, b is going to be 28. Okay, so what's 28 minus 7? That's 21. So A is the correct answer. One of the factors of 2x cubed plus 42x squared plus 208x is x plus b, where b is a positive constant, was the smallest possible value of b. So I'm going to bring the 2x out in the front, and it becomes x squared plus 21x plus 104. And I'm going to go ahead and write 8 and 13 here. So if I write this out, it becomes x plus 8, x plus 13, and we have a 2x at the end here. As you can see, 8 is the smaller guy. So 8 is the correct answer. In the given system equations, A is a positive constant. The system has exactly one distinct real solution. What is the value of A? So remember this, b squared minus 4ac. If that's greater than 0, we have 2 real solution. If b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, we have 1. If b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, then we have no real solutions. We're looking for this guy over here. So I'm going to set these equal to each other. So x squared plus 8x plus a is equal to minus 1.5 x squared plus 8x plus a plus 1.5 is equal to 0. B squared minus 4ac, so 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times uh, this guy over here. So this has to equal 0. And I'm going to go ahead and say that 64 is equal to 4 times. So 16 is equal to a plus 1.5. A is equal to 14.5. So 14.5 is the correct answer. Okay. The function f is given. Which table of values represents y is equal to f of x minus 3? So I know when x is equal to minus 6 or minus 5 or 4, my f of x is equal to 0, right? So if I'm going to bring down 3 units down in the y direction, and I need to get minus 3 for these values, right? So immediately I can cross out A, C, and D and choose B. Okay. For the function q, the value of q of x decreases by 45% for every increase in the value of x by 1. If q of 0 is 14, which equation defines q? So this is an exponential function. So 1, because it's decreasing, we're going to have to subtract 45 over 100 from 1. So this is equal to 0.55. And I can immediately eliminate A and B and D and choose C because we have the 0.55 and the answer choice C. The graph of y is equal to f of x plus 14 is shown. Which equation defines function f? So I'm going to go ahead and approximately the slope is equal to minus 1 over 4. That's the slope. And then my y-intercept is 2. But then we're going to now we're going to see like what the f of x is. So we don't know what f of x. So because like this is 14 units shift upwards for this graph, we need to shift the 14 units downwards for f of x. So I'm gonna go ahead and say minus 14. And this should be f of x, not sorry, not y. So what's 2 minus 14? That's minus 12. So A is the correct answer. Okay, the side lengths of right triangles RST are given. Triangle RST is similar to triangle UVW, where S corresponds to V and T corresponds to W. What is the value of tan W? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw the triangle here. So we have R, S, and T, and we have 20, 48, and 52. I'm going to draw another triangle here. So we have UVW, and we're looking for tan of W. So tangent is opposite over adjacent, so 20 over 48. If I divide this by 4, then I get a 5. So it's 5 over 12, so B is the correct answer. Okay, tricky question. 1 gallon of paint will cover 220 square feet of a surface. A room has a total wall area of W square feet. Which equation represents the total amount of paint P in gallons needed to paint the walls of the room twice? Okay, so we know that a paint will cover 220 square feet of a surface. So, we have, oops, we have W over 220, right? But I'm going to do this for twice. So if I multiply the 2 here, it becomes W over 110. So A is the correct answer. Okay, the number A is 100%, 110% greater than the number B. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write this down here. The number B is 90% less than 47. What is the value of A? Okay, so B is, since it's a 90% less than, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 90 over 100 from 1. And obviously multiply this by 47. What is the value of A? Okay, we have the two relationships here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to say, I'm going to first get the value of B. So B is equal to 4.7. A is going to be 2.1 times 2.1 times 4.7. So A is equal to 9.87. Okay. All right. Moving on to module 2. There are 55 students in Spanish club. A sample of the Spanish club students was selected at random and asked whether they intend to enroll in a new study program. Of those surveyed, 20% responded that they intend to enroll in the study program. Based on the survey, which of the following is the best estimate of the total number of Spanish club students who intend to enroll in the study program? So all we got to do is 20 over 100 times 55, and I get an 11. So A is the correct answer. J walks at a speed of 3 miles per hour and runs at a speed of 5 miles per hour. He walks for W hours and runs for R hours for a combined total of 14 miles. Okay, A is the correct answer here. The scatter plot shows a relationship between two variables x and y. A line of best fit is also shown. Which of the following equations best represents the line of best fit shown? So this is a positive increasing linear line of best fit. So B and D are immediately eliminated because they have negative slope. And my y-intercept is a positive value. So if I put x is equal to 0, I need to spit out a positive value. So A is the correct answer. The graph of y equals f of x is shown in the xy plane. What is the value of f of 0? So it's 3. So D is correct. Which expression is equivalent to this, where MQ and 0 positive? So if I look at the m's here, m to the power of 4 times m to the power of 1 is equal to m to the power of 4 plus 1. So m to the power of 5. Since we have m to the power of 5 here, A, C, and D are immediately eliminated. So B is the correct answer. I don't even have to consider everything else here. Okay, 6, what is the median of the data shown? So cross out here, cross out here, and cross out here. So 79. Okay, what is the value of x? What value of x is the solution to the given equation? 55. Okay, the solution to the given system equations is xy. What is the value of x plus y? I'm going to just add all of this up and becomes x plus y is equal to 13. So C is the correct answer. The given function G models the number of gallons of gasoline that remains from a full gas tank in a car after driving m miles. According to the model, about how many gallons of gasoline are used to drive each mile? The m represents each mile, okay? sorry, M represents the number, the miles. So for gallons per mile, something gallons per mile. So what is the something? As you can see, the minus 0.05 is the something that we're trying to determine. Because if I say 0.05 uh, gallons per miles, and then times m miles, sorry, I'll just, the units cancel out. Okay, so we can say that 0.05 is what we're looking for. So A is the correct answer. Okay. The given equation relates the positive numbers b, x, and y, which equation correctly expresses x in terms of b and y. So we need to say is x is equal to something. I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply here. And I'm going to divide 11 here. So it becomes y over 77b. So C is the correct answer. Okay. The graphs of the given equation xy plane intersects at point xy. What is a possible value of x? So set these equal to each other and we get x squared minus 5 is equal to 76. X squared is equal to 81. X is plus minus 9, so B. B is the correct answer. The point x comma 53 is a solution to the system of inequalities in the xy plane, which of the following could be the value of x. So I'm going to go ahead and put my y here. So 4x plus 53 is less than 18. 4x is less than 35. Oh, sorry, minus 35. X is less than minus 8.75. Minus 9 is indeed less than minus 8.75. So B, C, D are eliminated. A as an apple is the correct answer. Out of 300 seeds that were planted, 80% sprouted. How many of these seeds sprouted? Okay, just simply do this. What's 300 times 80 over 100? That's 240. So 240 is the correct answer. The function f is defined by f of x is equal to 4x. For what value of x does f of x equal to 8? So 2, because 4 times 2 is 8. Which expression is equivalent to this? I can factor the 2 out in the denominator and it becomes 2 times whatever this is. And I could cancel out the x minus 7s here. And it becomes 8x minus 3 over 2. So B is the correct answer. Okay. Line P is defined by 2y plus 18x is equal to 9. Line R is perpendicular to line P in the xy plane. What is the slope of line R? So I'm going to rewrite this as this. And we only need to know the slope here. And we know the relation between two perpendicular lines, right? The slope, if you multiply the two slopes, it should be minus 1. So I'm going to go ahead and say minus 9. M2 is equal to minus 1. M2 is 1 over 9. So C, as in cat, is the correct answer. The given function f models the numbers of coupons a company set to their customers at the end of each year, where T represents the number of years since the end of 1998, and 0 is less than T, and T is less than or 0 is less than or equal to T, T is less than or equal to 5. If Y is equal to f of T is graphed in the TY plane, which of the following is the best interpretation of Y-intercept graph in this content? So when T is equal to 0, we have an initial value of 8,000, right? So if I look at the answer choice D, the estimated number of coupons the companies sent to their customer at the end of 1998 indicates the initial value. And the initial value is 8,000. D is the correct option here. Triangle XYZ is similar to triangle RST such that X, Y, and Z correspond to RST respectively. The measure of Z is 20 degrees and 2XY is RS. What is the measure of angle T? Okay, so I'm going to draw out the two triangles here, 20 degrees and Z y and x, and r, t, and s. T and z are the same angle, so 20 degrees. So C is the correct answer. One of the equations in a system of two linear equations given, the system has no solution. Which equation could be the second equation to the system? I'm going to bring the 6x here, so it becomes minus 6x plus y is equal to 18. C and D are eliminated because I want something, this needs to be the same, but the right side has to be different. And B is the option what we're looking for. Because if we have minus 6x plus y is equal to 18 and minus 6x plus y is equal to 22, we don't have a solution to those two lines. Okay. What is the area in square centimeters of a rectangle with a length of 34 and centimeters and width of 29? So uh, area of a rectangle is length times width. So what's 34 times 29? That's equal to 986. Okay. Uh, the solution to the given system equation is xy. What is the value of x minus y? So I'm gonna go ahead and bring this guy here. So it becomes, actually, I'm gonna I'm gonna do I'm gonna bring this guy over here and this guy over here. So it becomes 4x minus y is equal to minus 1. 15x minus 4y is equal to 8. I'm gonna do a bit of a flip-flop. And I'm going to multiply this first row entirely by 4. So it becomes 16x minus 4y is equal to minus 4, and 15x minus 4y is equal to 8. So I'm going to subtract this. So x is minus 12. And if I put the minus 12 inside here, then y becomes 4 times minus 12. So that's minus 48 plus 1. That's equal to minus 47. So we have these two informations given. And all you got to do, since with x minus y is equal to minus 12 minus minus 47, which is equal to 35. So 35 is the correct answer to 21. How many distinct real solutions does the given equation have? Please remember this. So if b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, we have 2. If b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, we have 1. And if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, then we have no real solutions. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do b squared, which is 100 minus 4 times 5 times 16. And 100 minus 320, that's obviously less than 0. So we have no solution. So D is correct. Okay, unit conversion problem here. So if we have the square yards and don't forget to multiply this twice because we're looking for the area. And what is all of the divided by 1760 squared? That's equal to 3.83. Punch this in your calculator and you'll get this. Okay, which of the following equation represents a circle in the xy plane that intersects the y-axis at exactly 1 point? I'm going to go ahead and draw C here. If I have the xy plane here, if I, the center of the circle is 4 comma 9, right? If I draw the circle, it's gonna like touch the y axis exactly once. So C is the correct answer. I suggest for question 24, you draw each of the answer choices out on an XY plane and know where the center of the circle is. Also, the radius is 4 because square root of 16 is 4. So radius of the circle is 4. Okay, and the triangles A, B, C, and D, F, angles B and E each have a measure of 27. Angles C and F each have a measure of 41. Which additional piece of information is sufficient to determine whether triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF? Okay, so we have ABC here. We have DEF here. Since this is a geometry problem, I always suggest you to draw this out. So B and E have 27 degrees, 27 degrees. Angles C and F have 41 degrees. So if I know the two angles, I can immediately determine the angle A and D, but that doesn't like give me the information whether if these two triangles are congruent, so A is eliminated. Well, if I only know the side AB, um, I don't really know because like I could scale the side DE, so B is wrong. The length of BC and EF. Yes, I need to know if these two are like the same or like different. So C is the correct answer here. Okay. All right, question 27. A right triangle has legs with lengths of 24 centimeters and 21 centimeters. If the legs of this triangle's hypotenuse in centimeters be written in the form 3 square root d, where d is an integer, what is the value of d? So we have 24 and 21, the hypotenuse. We know that h squared is equal to 24 squared plus 21 squared. So if I want to find h, what's 24 squared plus 21 squared? That's 1017. And I'm going to go ahead and keep dividing 1017 by 3 because I have the 3 in front here. So this becomes 339, and then it becomes 113. So 3 square root 113. And we're only looking for d, so 113 is the correct answer for 27. Okay, question 26. Two data sets of 23 integers are summarized in the histograms shown. For each of the histograms, the first interval represents the frequency of integers greater than or equal to 10 but less than 20. The second interval represents the frequency of integers greater than or equal to 20 but less than 30, and so on. What is the smallest possible difference between the mean of dataset A and the mean of dataset B? Well, since dataset A has somewhere between 50 to 60 and dataset B doesn't, I can determine that the mean of A is greater than the mean of B. Now, all I have to do is I need to write my tables for A and B here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we have A and then 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. Sorry for my bad handwriting. So for A, we have 0, 3, 4, 7, and 9. And for B, we have 3, 4, 7, 9. So for A, since the mean value for A is bigger, my smallest possible numbers for A is 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50 because the lower bound, we're including the lower bounds, but we're not including the upper bounds. And we need to get the smaller one because the mean of A is bigger. And we're going to have to multiply it by the frequency. So for A, I'm going to go ahead and say that it's 10 times 0 plus 20 times 3 plus 30 times 4 plus 40 times 7 plus 50 times 9 should be a 9. For B, it should be 19 because now I want the greatest possible value of B, but since we're not including the 20, 1 less than 20 is 19. So 19 times 3, so 29 times 4 plus 37. Oh, sorry, 39 times 7 plus 49 times 9 plus 50 times 0. Okay, so punch this in your calculator, then A is going to be 910. B is going to be 887. So it's going to be 90, because we're getting the mean, it's going to be 910 divided by 23 minus 887 divided by 23, which is equal to 23 divided by 23. That's equal to 1. So B is the correct answer. Thank you for watching.